I'm awake. Are you? Peace family, this is Iyapo. It's Iyapo Yapa. Iyapo Yapa is an acronym. It stands for if you aren't pissed off, you aren't paying attention. It's good to be back with you. I know it's been a little while. It's been about a week. Maybe a little bit more. Last time I spoke to you was like on a live stream. But first off, I want to apologize to the brothers. I haven't done a Black Man's Journey live in a couple weeks, and I apologize for that. I will be getting back to that, and I haven't been doing a lot of shares like I was. Part of the reason is that there are things that I'm doing behind the scenes that I'm working to move some of what we do online into the real world, as far as real world applications go, for our people. And I've contacted several people, and I'm working with them, and you know who you are, and I appreciate your time and attention to what I've been presenting. So we'll just keep moving forward with that. Anyway, I saw something yesterday that was disturbing. Now, I've already been seeing everything about what's happening with Black people, where people are just, you know, it's starting to be this rise in people calling the police for Black people just doing whatever, basically just existing. This is something that we have known to be going on for decades, and we've been talking about, but now because of technology, people can see it. That's all. Just like when we were talking about how the police would plant things on us when people would harass us for no reason, and so, you know, and so on and so on and so on. And now that it's starting to be captured with cell phones and video cameras and so on, now it's no surprise to Black people at all. None of this ever surprises us when we see it. We look at it and we basically just said, we've been telling you this is what's been happening. You know, you just thought it was all in our head, or that we were just liars or being extreme or whatever. And now their trick is to say, oh, well, you're just cherry picking different incidents and so on. There's always going to be some excuse. Oh, well, you didn't show what happened before, and so on. And then you show the entire thing, and it's just as bad or worse. But no matter, when a person wants to believe something, there's nothing you can say or do that's going to make them not believe it. If someone wants to believe something, there's nothing you can say or do that's going to make them not believe it. So, you know, it's a futile act in itself, only because, and getting to the subject of what I'm talking about, we have to understand who we're dealing with. Now, going to what I was about to say, I saw a young Black lady on Lee Camp's show. He does a show, Redacted, tonight, and he's a white man, but he was interviewing the Black lady who was present at the Starbucks when the two men got arrested, and she was telling her story and the fact that she had started filming a couple minutes before this white woman started filming, but nobody cared until the white people started saying, you know, what's going on here. That's not even really my point. My point is that she she went into this thing where she's talking about how now her and her, and the white woman who was doing the filming are now close friends, and they stay in contact, and and so on and so forth, and that now they meet constantly and are trying to form some kind of a coalition to bridge the gaps and to bridge understanding and all that. That is the problem. Therein lies the problem. Our people, on the whole, do not understand who we're dealing with. We don't know who we're dealing with. When you're talking to a colonizer, you are talking to a calcified pineal gland. That's what you're dealing with. You may as well be talking to a cat. You may as well be talking to a wall, because the problem is they don't perceive things the same way that we do. They don't feel sympathy or empathy in the same way that we do. And of course they will beg to differ with this, and many of our own people will beg to differ, because we're caught up in this mindset of, oh, people are just people and love is just love and all that garbage. But it's not, and it took me decades to figure this out. And I say that to my shame. It took me a long time before I finally truly understood that we are different. Not better or worse. We're different. We're different peoples. Now, I will say this. I just like I showed Medgar Evers at the opening for the memorial. We have Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, Dr. King, Huey Newton. We have all these different leaders, all these different people, and of those who died in the civil rights movement, or were beaten and still lived, or the children who had the dogs sicked on them, or were sprayed down with fire hoses, or what, and whatever. Really think about this. The question I'm about to ask: why were all these things done to them? Why? What was all the fighting about? What was all the death about? What was the burning crosses about? What you have Malcolm X and Dr. King and Huey Newton on the FBI list, or at least during the time of Hoover, Dr. King and Malcolm X. What was their crime? What were they trying to do? Were they talking about killing anybody? No. Now, Malcolm may have, but not like an assassination or murder. He's talking about defending yourself. So that's not the same thing. Defending yourself is defending yourself. So you're not talking about going out and killing anybody. Okay, so what was their crime? Were they talking about overthrowing the government? No. Were they talking about hurting anybody? No. Were they talking about killing white folks? No. So what was their crime? What has been considered the crime of black people? They consider the fact that we want to be treated like human beings as too much to ask. They look at the fact that we want to be just not be treated like garbage or second-class citizens as somehow too much to ask and somehow a crime. And I really had to give some thought to this, because when you think in the context of what happens to black people and what has happened to black people and all the killing and all the violence, everything, listen to me. It is because you have a people who just want to be treated normally. That's it. Nobody's talking about hurting anybody. Nobody's talking about killing anybody. Nobody's talking about overthrowing the government. Nobody's talking about All you want to do is be treated like a human being, and that is too much to ask when it comes to them. No matter how you twist it and turn, because I've thought about this at length. No matter how you turn it, no matter how you twist it, it just boils down to we are attacked and hated because we don't want to be treated like garbage. Now, when you're dealing with people who feel that way about you, then who are you dealing with? Do you even understand who and what you're dealing with? And on a deeper level, white people they say that they want to separate from us just as much as we want to separate from them. And I'm talking about those of us who desire to separate, because you still have plenty of people on both sides that say, no, we need to just mix together and sing kumbaya. Y'all mix together and sing kumbaya over there. Let me go over here with my people. But that said, of the people who say that we want to separate, whether you're a black person who wants to separate or if you're a white person who wants to separate, the difference between, when a black person says they want to separate and when a white person says they want to separate is that when black people, look at it in the context of a relationship, when a black person says they want to separate, they mean, I want to separate and here's the keys to the apartment. When a white person says they want to separate, they're saying, I want to go my way, but I want to keep the keys so that I can drop in on you at will anytime that I want to. I want to still have access to you. See, black people want to break clean. White people want us to not be in their spaces or in their places, which is fine. I mean that with all my soul. I mean that. If you don't want us in your space and your places, I don't want to be there. But you want yours and you want ours too. You want yours and you want to always have access to us. And this is something I'm getting at as far as when white people talk about, go back to Africa and stuff. I'm going to ask this question. Do white people have a problem with the presence of black people? No, not at all. You know why I know that? Because they kept going over to Africa and kidnapping us and bringing us over here. By the hundreds of thousands, by the millions, bringing us over here to be in their presence. And that doesn't sound like a people that don't want you around. During the civil rights movement, or during Jim Crow, I'm sorry, during Jim Crow, did they want us around? Yes and no. We were fine going into their cafes. We were fine riding their buses, riding their trains, so as long as we stayed in our areas or our places, they would put it. They didn't have any problem with it. They didn't have any problem with us cleaning their toilets, being their bus boys. They didn't have any issues. So what made them all of a sudden start having an issue with us? We started asking to be treated, demanding to be treated like human beings. Now they got a problem with us. And they want us to go back to Africa. In other words, you are fine around us as long as we can control you, be in control of you, be over you, treat you any way that we want to treat you. Okay? Then we're fine. And you can be with us, you can be around us all you like. But what's this? You want to be treated like I'm treated? You want to be treated like a first-class citizen? You want to be treated like an actual citizen? No, go back to Africa. What good is that going to do? You guys are over there too. For that same reason that I explained before. You want yours and you want ours. So white people have a problem with our existence. That's why they're calling about it. And there's another psychological reason for this. They're losing control. That's obvious. Things, the tide is changing. All that. And what happens when people start getting desperate? They start acting out. When a person is used to being in control and they feel they're losing that control, just think about relationships you had and you've been on the receiving end of the mess. When they feel like they're losing that control, that's when they start trying to exert even more control. Okay, because they want to try to get back into control. They're doing anything they can to get back into control, and they use the police as their strong arm man. Many people have said that, and it's correct. You know, they use the police as their strong arm man as their bouncers and so on. When it comes to us and our relationship with them, they always want to have access to us. They want to be able to treat us any way that they want, and they want to use their police as strong arm men against us because they see that they're losing that control, and they don't know what to do about it. And frankly, there's nothing they can do about it, and it's not something we're even doing to them. You know, this is just the natural way of things that this is coming to pass on them. So anyway, I'm not going to stay before you long, but I just want you to keep in mind that just like the lady that I was talking about, and I can't remember her name, that's on being interviewed by Lee Camp, and her perception that she can somehow build a coalition with this colonizer, and that they can figure something out and make some kind of an organization to create more understanding with. You have got to understand who it is you are dealing with. And it hasn't worked in over 400 years. What in the world makes anyone think it's going to start working now? What? So, anyway, purchase this black. I know that's an abrupt subject change, but purchase this black by Sister Ajali. Your radical home sister. Look, one of the first steps that we have to take in this separation is that we have to start buying black. We have to start pumping money back into our people with people who are for our people. Okay, and then once that money starts to circulate through our communities, then we can start to build. And I mean, there are other underlying issues as far as like generational wealth that we do not have as a people. I mean, I'm aware of that. So there's a whole lot involved in this, but you do what you can where you can, and one of the things that you can do is to buy this black. It's an excellent novel. I've read it. Probably good. I'm in the middle of another one called, and this is the novel, but it's a book called At the Hand of Persons Unknown, about lynching in America. But it's neither here nor there. After I finish that, I'm probably going to go back to this black and read that again. And so go to Sister Ajali's site. That's your radical home sister. Also, be sure and visit Angela at Be Fabulous You. That's the positive vibe, the positive vibe channel. So go there. She's a wonderful, wonderful sister. And we're also planning a trip to the Jim Crow Museum this coming August. You can get more information about that from her site, from the Information Man Show's site. Also from here, we'll be constantly posting and trying to build that. Well, not trying. Building that so that we know exactly when the trip is going to be, because the Jim Crow Museum is I think like one of the really good trips that we could take as a family, meet each other, greet each other, and just have a good time and learn a couple of things while we're at it. Don't forget Sister Lisa Cabrera and the True Royal family, as always. I already mentioned the Information Man, and there's so many more that I can name, and I'll always leave somebody out because there's just so many. Nicole's View, very proud of her and her work, and of course Tarian Rain, he's out there always plugging, and he fights barefisted, so he that's a warrior brother. So anyway, I'm going to cut it off right here. Brothers, I will be doing the Black Man's Journey live probably sometime next week. Have a few other things I have to do here in the real world. Like I said, working to build something for our family, and once that's together, then me and the people that I'm working with will unveil that. So having said that, you know I love you. Always, all love and respect to the family. And I will talk to you in the next share if I don't see you on in some of the chats. Peace.